those the right jerseys? These yours or mine? Wait, all right, whenever you're ready, sir.
Ready, my friend.
You ready?
Okay.
All right.
Good evening, fastball fans. Welcome back to Lions Park, Simcoe, Ontario. Blair Setford, Joe Todd on Softball Premier TV. It's the nightcap on day 2 of the Hill United Chiefs Challenge. Niagara Stompers out on the field. New York Gremlins about to come to the plate. Joe Todd, we just witnessed a bit of a barn burner between the Hill United Chiefs and the Bear Creek Express. Hill United 7-5 winners. They'll finish at the top of the table in the round robin. These two teams are going to battle it out. Who's going to play Bear Creek? It'll be the winner of this game should take on the Bear Creek Express. The loser will face Hill United tomorrow in the semifinals.
Yes, and as you mentioned, the bats were alive in this earlier game. Who will be the dominant force here? Will it be the pitchers? Will it be the hitters?
Well, a bit of a surprise starter for the Niagara Stompers. It's Martin Gonzalez gets the ball for the Stompers. We asked head coach Larry Lynch, where was Huemo Mata? Not feeling well today. He's got sinus congestion and maybe gets into the game later on depending on how things go, but just not feeling 100% today, and Larry wanted to keep him out, maybe save him for tomorrow.
Again, it's early in the year and want to make sure that you want to take care of your investment.
Leading things off for the New York Gremlins, Joe, to be Matthew Waugh, as he's done for about the last 17 years for the New York Gremlins, it seems like. Anyway, going all the way back, I want to say, to 2012. Jerome Remeke hits in the 2 spot. Ben Anoka makes a way back up into the 3 hole. Eric Ochoa bats 4th. Brian Avery into the lineup in the 5 hole. Cole Evans, 6 at shortstop. Blake Hunter, the designated player, bats 7. Ladislau Malarzouk will hit 8th, and Nick Mullins in the 9 spot as he holds that down. Jack Besgrove, as I understand it, Joe, this will be Jack Besgrove's first start in North America. Came on relief last night. Defensively for the Niagara Stompers, left to right around the outfield. Blake Underwood in left, Teo Migliavac in center. Blaine Milheim is in right field. Third base is Reese Evans. Cam Schiller's at short. Second base is Brock Atwell. Over at first, it's Pete Arona. The aforementioned Martin Gonzalez on the board. Juan Cruzera behind the plate for the Stompers. Matthew Waugh steps in from the left side, measures out where he wants the left foot, 1 bat length from the tip of the plate. And in for a strike is Martin Gonzalez, leading things off to Matthew Waugh. 8:20 start time.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Just 20 minutes considering 6 games on this diamond today. This is the 6th of 6 scheduled. This one lifted foul out of play. We started at 9 a.m. this morning. We have bobbed and dodged and weaved around the weather all day long. We've actually had, Joe, probably just as much sunshine as we've had little bits and pieces of drizzle here and there.
It's been a great day, really. I've just put my light sweater on right now. Skies are looking good for tomorrow, too.
Well, for what we thought was going to be a real rough weekend weather-wise, it has turned out to be spectacular. This is downstairs.
Good pitch location by Gonzalez there.
Still 22 degrees here in Simcoe. Sun setting down to past the left side. Var Matiozian coaching out at first base has got his hand up in front of the face trying to shield from the setting sun. That could be a small issue for first baseman Pitarona. Anything coming from Reese Evans might be coming out of that setting sun. We'll keep an eye on that for an inning or so.
And the right fielder, Blaine Milheim. Any right fielder tonight.
Yeah, that's a possibility too. They're looking right up in that general direction. Long time in between pitches here. Waugh fouls that one off. There you see the sun. That's going to get below that tree line in a matter of minutes.
Yes.
Final game on Diamond 2, Joe, Toronto Batman and Oswegan Redmen. Toronto out on the field in their all black uniforms with the yellow trim. Upstairs, Waugh holds back. First base umpire Rick Havercroft doing the same thing. He's got his hand up to shield from the sun glare too. Full count, Matthew Waugh. Seeing pitches. This one laced out to deep center, going back and gone. Matthew Waugh, leadoff home run, circles the bases for the New York Gremlins. And just like that, Joe Todd, the Gremlins jump out to that early lead, sets the table, and clears the dishes, too.
Just almost a duplication of our earlier game with the big home run in that first inning.
The New York Gremlins.
Great power there by Matthew Waugh.
Number 6.
Well, got absolutely all of it. And Matty will hit 3-4 home runs a tournament when he gets into a groove like that. He's always had the power. That's not his game. His game's normally is kind of gap to gap and get out quickly. This guy's the power hitter. He lifts this one way up in the air. Blake Underwood will come over and retire Jerome Remeke. Fly ball.
Now stepping into the batter's box.
Benanoka will step in the right side batter's box and will kick the line immediately into oblivion.
Juan Cruzero does the other side.
Benanoka last night deposited one into the trees in left field. You and I were wondering how long he was going to hit that down in the order. He was in the 6 or 7 spot in the order. Didn't last long. He was up into the 3 hole pretty quickly today. Benny, a long-time leadoff batter, batted 3 for the Gremlins most of the last 3 seasons. Called strike in the outside corner. Got engaged in the off season.
Very good.
He and Thomas both got engaged. Thomas Anoka, the middle brother. Campbell Anoka we just saw with the Hill United Chiefs. Still single and available, young ladies.
He had a home run last game.
He did. That's in the hole. Cam Schiller just can't get Ben Enoka. Still runs exceedingly well. Look where Cam Schiller goes to get this ball. Way over in the hole. And that strong throw still almost gets Ben Enoka.
Great defensive play.
Eric Ochoa to the plate. Acknowledges Zara and our home plate umpire, Steve Gallagher. 4-man crew for this one. Steve Gallagher, Rick Havercroft, Kevin Wallace, Mike Morrissey around the horn for the umpires. I was talking with the Blue Crew before the game. I said to Rick Havercroft, try not to get hit. He was in the dish just a game back. He must have got hit 6 or 7 times.
I don't think they got an ice tub in the umpire's room.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Plenty of power from the left side from Eric Ochoa. fouls this one off. Gremlins on the short side of a 3-1 decision last night. They piled up the runs today. This one is drilled into the gap. That's going to split the outfield, get to the fence. Inoka flying around the bases. Here's the throw. Score standing up, cut off by Pitterona. And Erica Choa, an RBI double. That's a couple of hard-hit balls, very hard-hit balls, Joe Todd.
Great power hit into that gap, as you would say it, driving in the second run of the game.
Brian Avery to the plate. Doesn't get any easier for Martin Gonzalez and the Niagara Stompers right now.
Did Avery play in your earlier game? Did you have Gremlins earlier?
I did not. No, they've been over on Dive-In 2 the last 2 games.
I don't think he played in the game last night.
He did not play last night, but he has been in the games today, from what I understand.
Oh yeah, it's in you.
Foul back to the screen. Brian Avery swung the bat very well for Canada. Probably was their best player, I thought, at the WBSC World Cup November, December. But what impressed me, I mean, Brian's always swung a great bat, but he was very, very spectacular defensively. I mean, a couple of great catches out near the fence, going up, stealing away home runs.
Yeah, I remember a couple of times he made some great catches out in right field.
He's been very versatile, and that's helped him with Team Canada. He spent time behind the dish, caught the whole Pan Am qualifier tournament earlier in the year. This one is lifted up to right. Milheim battling the sun and throws a bullet back into Atwell in the cut position. Ochoa never even took a foot off the bag. Sixth batter, Cole Evans.
34, Cole Evans.
I'm wondering if Cole has somebody else's jersey on. That's number 41. Yeah, he had number 34.
Yes.
Correction, Cole Evans is wearing number 41.
Just off the outside corner. And Joe, you wonder if this Gremlin comes in with a bit of a grudge, chip on their shoulder, something to prove here after going down last night. They're the defending champions in this tournament. They came in ranked number 1. Stompers ranked number 2.
Stompers have to shut the door here. Can't allow any more runs. Potential third scoring run.
This one is in the hole. Ochoa slides in safely as the throw gets away from Zara. Evans very alertly runs the bases very well up to third base on the throw to the plate. That was going to be close at the plate, Joe,
yeah,
but took a bit of a bad hop on Zara.
Four hits that Gonzalez has given up so far here in this just the top of the first inning. A single, 2 doubles, and a home run.
Well, they're threatening to run away with it already here. Of course, we saw a 3-0 lead evaporate pretty quickly in the last game. Blake Hunter at the plate. New addition to the Gremlins, last year with Grand Prairie. Swing and a miss, comes up empty.
Blake pretty versatile too. Can also do some catching if called upon.
Can catch, can play third, first, outfield.
Gotcha, Blair.
Yeah, I flinched. One ball, 2 strikes on Blake Hunter from British Columbia. Swings and misses at the rise ball. Gremlins score 3. They strand 1 in the top half of the first. We'll go to the bottom half. Niagara Stompers coming to the plate. Some work to do for Niagara.
Dreamcatcher, inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm proud to say as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
Joe Teo Megalivaka will lead things off for the Niagara Stompers here in the bottom half. He'll be followed by Blaine Milheim. Cam Schiller in the 3 spot. Marshall Cronk bats cleanup. Blake Underwood. Pitterona hits 6. Reese Evans. Brock Atwell moves up from the 9 spot to 8. Juan Cruzera drops down into the 9 hole for the Stompers. Defensively for the Gremlins, left to right across the outfield. Matthew Wand left, center field. Ben Anoka, right field. Brian Avery today. And defensively, Jerome Remekes at third. Cole Evans at short. Ladislaw Malorczuk is at second base. Over at first, it's Eric Ochoa. Behind the plate, as always, Nick Mullins and Jack Besgrove. Sit back, Joe Todd. We're in for a treat. Jack Besgrove making his first start here in North America for the Gremlins.
Watched Jack last night, and I was very impressed. Seeing him live is just that much better.
Migliavacca over the top. Good drop from the young left-hander. Joe, you said his ball just looked like it was accelerating the whole way in.
Yeah, it's just exploding just before the batter. The movement and the speed just seems to change.
Mullins creeps outside, and there's that sweeping curveball from Besgrove. Just off the plate, again with the curveball. Off the glove of Mullins back to the screen. Looks like he's just still getting loose, Joe.
Yeah.
We'll see what the velocity is by about the second or third inning. High hopper in the infield. Evans, strong thrower to first. Not in time. Not going to get Teo Migliavaca when it hops that high up this hard infield.
Good wheels going down that line, but a great play by Evans to make it that close.
We got two of the best shortstops in the game here with Cole Evans out on the field. Cam Schiller, he's in the on-deck circle right now. Blaine Milheim, an emerging star for Team USA. Way up and off the glove to the screen. Just under-rotated that one. He really got under it, Joe, and Riseball just kept going up.
Yeah, just under, trying to overthrow a little bit there. Got to stay within yourself.
Oh, there's... That pitch must have broke 18 inches.
Yeah.
And this one comes right in on the hands of Milheim. That pitch is going to be a handful for the right-handed batters.
Yes.
Because you can either start that in the batter's box and break across backdoor curve, or it's going to come right in on the hands like that one did on Milheim. There's the drop down. Milheim fouls this one up and out of play. That goes halfway to the parking lot. Saw Blaine at breakfast this morning. That seems like about 14 days ago right now. Little changeup poked over toward Evans in the hole. Boy, what an arm from deep in the hole by Cole Evans. Watch the replay, folks, and see how far over he goes to his right to go get that ball. Way over in the hole.
Great range. I'm saying 10, 12 feet.
Oh, at least, yeah. Yeah, 3-4 steps for sure to go get that ball. This guy's pretty good too, Cam Schiller. Hits it to his counterpart, takes a high hop off the chest of Cole Evans. That's the first tough hop I've seen all day, Joe.
Kind of blocked out of the play. Let me see the replay.
Well, it just came up on Cole Evans. It took two hops and hop, and then just come up on him.
Designated player number 7, Marshall Cronk.
So it
pretty hard hit ball.
Cronk. These guys spent a lot of time together in November, December with the Australian national team. Jack Besgrove in the gold medal game, pitching Australia to a gold medal. Called a strike the inside corner. Marshall Cronk, the MVP, not only of the WBSC World Cup, but also last year's ISC World Tournament in Moline, Illinois. Niagara Stompers were known as the Kitchener Twins, most of them back then. This one downstairs and skips into Mullins, who's as good defensively as anybody.
Great bounce back there. Very light on his feet.
Big lean from Besgrove. Drives to the plate. And the glasses are a new addition, Joe.
Yes, we noticed that last night.
What he doesn't have is that wristband that they were wearing with Australia. Back to the traditional finger signals from the catcher. Kronk fouls this one off. Boy, he's a tough out.
Yes.
You can't get anything by him.
Does not get cheated, and he loves to protect the plate.
The Gremlins, the 3 in the top. Stompers threatening here on their own in the bottom. Change-up and a beauty. Strikes out Marshall Kronk. Boy, it's not fair, Joe.
Okay, for the second out of the inning.
20 years old, you've got a change-up that good. You throw this hard with that kind of movement on your pitches. Oh.
Niagara. Left fielder, number 20, Blake Underwood.
Fun to watch.
Blake Underwood to the plate for Niagara. Rise ball with a curve. And a ball on the field from the other diamond. Joe wanted to say hello to Colleen Hicks out in Bakersfield, California. Greg came by, asked to say hello. He's behaving himself this week for a change. Not sure if they've been out for steak yet or not.
I bet you they have.
I bet you they have too. Way upstairs to Underwood.
It's important that Stompers get some runs in this board.
Yeah, you don't have to score them all at once, so
Nope,
that would
just
be nice. But
peck
just
away.
push one across, and like you said, just peck away at it. Teo Migliavaca out at second base. Cam Schiller's aboard at first. Out to Cole Evans again. They'll go the short way to second this time to get the final out of the inning. Cole Evans, busy man that inning, Joe Todd. Gremlins, keep the door shut.
First inning,
Stompers do show a little bit of life. Through one complete.
no runs for New York.
Gremlins, 3.
Sorry,
Stompers,
Niagara.
no score. There you see Lions Park here in Simcoe, Ontario, the home of the Hill United Chiefs Challenge. That's the main diamond that we're on. We're joined now by Ron Hackett, head coach of Team USA, and also the winning coach of last year's ISC World Tournament. Ron, it was a really good year for you personally and for your teams. Want to start with the ISC Championship. And that was a special moment. Every single guy in that team was their first ISC World Tournament Championship.
Yeah, it really was. For us to kind of do it for Jim and then for all the guys, to your point, to be their first one, that was a really special team. We had a lot of fun all year, and they believed, and it really turned out for them.
You guys put a lot of faith, and deservedly so, in Huemo Mata in that championship game. Did you ever think, boy, I don't know whether we're going to get out of this one?
Yeah, No, because that's who he is and that's what he's all about. You know, I mean, when the ISC comes around, you've been around pitchers like that. They want the ball, and it doesn't matter if they throw 70 pitches or 150.
150 pitches in that ISC championship game against these New York Gremlins, and they were hot coming in too.
They were, and they were tough for us all year. You know, we had some success against them, and but the guys believed that if they got that opportunity with as great a team as they are, that they could do it. And you know, throughout the week they stayed focused. That's the first time I've never been into the losers bracket in all the years. You know, we had a bunch of third places, but staying in that winners bracket the way they did is key when you're trying to do that. So
makes a big difference not having to play those extra games on Saturday.
It makes a huge difference. And then on the day of the championship, you know, we had so much weather delays and game issues, and we were at the hotel. We came over early in the day just to get them out because we knew we weren't going to play till later in that day, and you're sitting around waiting for 2 full games to play. So we ended up playing cards and doing all the things you need to do to try to stay ready.
Good strategy. Take us through the emotions after the ISC World Tournament. Change in plans. You guys maybe thought, hey, we're going to come back and we're going to defend. We got a great group here. Plans changed pretty rapidly.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, Jim made his decision a few days afterwards. I kind of had a real good idea. But, yeah, I mean, he's a great sponsor. He's given so much to the game.
Absolutely.
He has every right
Absolutely.
to go do something else. I know he's passionate about the junior programs and the young programs in Ontario. So I'm glad to see that he's getting an opportunity to go do some of that.
No, that's great, and we appreciate the support that he continues to show the game, even if it's not here at the ISC level. Ladislaw Maller-Zook down on strikes. You were instrumental in keeping this group together. A lot of them come out of this Stompers team. How happy are you to see them stay together?
Ecstatic. You know, I mean, they would have loved to have all stayed together. Unfortunately, there's existing teams, and some of those teams just couldn't take on that many of them. But it was a thrill when I got a call from Wes Short and Larry saying, hey, we're looking to do something. And to get as many of them here, it's just a blessing. And can't thank Brian Porter enough for coming into the game and stepping it up. And I think they're going to have a really great season.
Yeah, they showed very well at the Canada East qualifier last week, winning the tournament, kind of finishing the job there. That got left a little bit undone, although I'm sure you'll take that ISC World Championship trophy every time. So let's shift gears. Let's focus on Team USA. You guys had a real good team that was put together. I know you told the outside the shoot guys that, hey, you know what, we're aiming for a medal, and I did the prediction show with those guys, and I had you guys, you know, kind of as an outside team to keep an eye on for somebody, and you ended up on the medal stand. Congratulations, a bronze medal, the first medal for Team USA in 22 or 29 years.
20. It's either 20 or 22. It was London. So I think London may have been 2020 right? or 22 or 2000 or 2001.
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, so a long time. But, you know, I mean, with the coaching staff, you know, we have Coach Hicks, obviously, is with the Gremlins. Coach Muselar, who everybody knows what he's done in his career. And then Roman Four. You know, we just believed. And we said, we're not doing this to just go to world tournaments and have fun and have 10 days off. If we're all going to be committed to this, the goal is a gold medal. And we were extremely static with the way we played in the bronze medal. But we even talked after the tournament and said to all the players, this is nice, but it's not our goal. So everybody needs to get on that mindset, because a gold medal is what your goal is when you're going in there.
And you've got a nice mix of veterans and some really up-and-coming players. Bradley Kilpatrick, of course, pitched that complete game in the final against the defending champions, too, no less, and got you that bronze medal with a shutout. I think of guys like Blaine Milheim coming around. You've got Cam Schillers in the prime of his career. Some good young talent in this Team USA program.
Yeah, we've been fortunate, and this goes back to Coach Leather and I was kind of starting a futures program back in 2014 timeframe, and just trying to expose the young guys across the U.S. to more levels, see what they're capable of, and we've been pretty fortunate through that. A lot of those folks actually that Coach Leather and I took in 2014 to Elkland Labor Day.
Yeah.
A lot of them were on that team. We've been pretty fortunate. Obviously Brad being a dual citizen, that's given us an opportunity. So things like that kind of fall in place. You take advantage of the opportunities when they present themselves and just try to support the players.
But the players have got to come through, and you guys, of course, are setting the environment for that. Gerald Muslar, one of the best teaching pitchers around. That young pitching staff did a great job with them.
They really did, and Coach Muslar and I talked, and I don't manage the pitching, and that's his job. And one of the things he said was, we learned a lot from the qualifier in Argentina. And in Argentina, we kind of ran Brad out there. And then come the bronze medal game in there, he ran out of gas. He had nothing left. And we said, for us to be successful, because our goal isn't a bronze medal, it's to win a gold medal or try to win a gold medal, we've got to plan like that's the, in go through games like that's the goal. If we don't behave like that, then we're just kind of fighting for fourth, third, and trying to say, Team USA finished fourth, third, fifth. That's not the goal. So, and if that meant that you finished sixth or seventh, well, then that means you finished sixth or seventh. But we had to have a plan that was driven at the gold medal only.
Matthew Waugh out to run for Nick Mullins with 2 out catcher rule. Talk to me about the environment down in New Zealand. It was a challenge for you guys, I understood, because you weren't in that tournament. You got some exhibition games in. How about creating that atmosphere of success for Team USA?
Yeah, for us, one of the things that we did early on with having some of the relationships with the other national team coaches, once we realized the way the WBSC was, they were just going to take the top 6 into the rankings, we didn't have an opportunity to play in that tournament. So we knew we did not want to have games in the lead up that, no offense to some of those teams, but like Denmark, they're there, they're doing great, but we didn't want to scrimmage that. We wanted to test ourselves early.
Yep.
And if that didn't work out for us, that was okay. So, with my relationship with Julio, of course, Yoshi, we were able to get Argentina, Japan, and also Canada, of course. So
Matthew Waugh gets the wave, comes around, scores all the way from first. Jerome Remeke up in a third on a ball that barely made it out of the outfield. And just, Ron, at the club team level here, and even at the national team, good teams take advantage of opportunities when they arise.
They do, and the Gremlins are one of the best teams to do it. You give them opportunities to take extra bases, do the things that we saw them do in the first inning. Then they have so many great players that then you put yourself in a position where you walk a person, you make an error, next thing you know, they hit a 3-run home run. And that's what makes them great.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Who's on your radar screen here this week as you, and it's early in the season, obviously, but who are you looking at with Team USA? There's still some potential events coming over the course of the next couple of years as we build up to the 2025 World Cup in Prince Albert.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a 3-year, the new WBSC 3-year, so everybody will go to their regionals in 23, and then you'll go into stage 1 in 24. There's more teams coming out of the regionals now because there's 3 different events. But for us, it's not a lot of guys here from the U.S. this weekend, but there is a tournament out in Walcott, another
Right.
ISC
Yep.
qualifier.
Yep.
That some of those folks are there. We've got some really young guys, the Ducharme twins. Their brother was a really good player in the
Bryce,
junior
yep.
program, and they're really coming up. We've got a Frank Kimlinger.
Yes, from
Really-
Minnesota. Yep.
Yeah, his father played. He's a really, really nice player. Andre Hoover out of Pennsylvania. And then we still have quite a few young guys that were either involved with the program in the Argentina qualifier. We had 3 guys that were having kids, so they couldn't go. Owen Lukens, Andre Hoover, they couldn't go to New Zealand. So we're excited, and we're continuing to. Actually, Coach Hicks actually just found a young kid out of California that Rob Schweier has been working
Okay.
with. His name's Jackson Jordan.
Oh, well,
So,
that's
nice
a name
young
we'll look
pitcher.
forward to seeing.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We're chatting with Ron Hackett, head coach of Team USA, bronze medalist at the WBSC World Cup. Talk to me about this schedule. I'm hearing maybe Guatemala later this year for the regional qualifiers. Is that right?
Yeah. Right now they've told us Guatemala, end of December, end of November, beginning of December. They haven't given us actual dates. But again, we don't even know with the new format, the 2024 stage 1s. If you are hosting that, you don't have to go. You're automatically qualified into the stage 1 round.
Okay.
So for
Canada.
example, Canada, if they want to go to Guatemala, they can. But if they don't want to, they are advanced into round 2. And with, the way the men's game is now, with budgets being tight, but the other 2 hosts in 24 are not established yet either. So who knows? Maybe the USA will get one of those, and that'd be good. And then you're faced with choices.
Yeah, and it would be great to see a WBSC event back on U.S. soil too. Midland 2016, the last, and that was a junior men's event. But it would be great to see some of that USA softball support back behind the men's program and getting events into the U.S.
It really would. I think it would be big, and I think too we've had some conversations, and I know it's probably difficult depending on the country, but we've got to figure out how to way to align, in my opinion, the women's game and the men's game.
Yeah, been saying that for years.
In Canada, I know they have a great women's program, and I think we're missing out on an opportunity. If one of the things I've always said to Craig Kress from USA Softball, I've said, how awesome would it be to have a stage event or the WBSC championship for women and men in Oklahoma City, or a same site.
Something like that, alternating back and forth game.
Yeah.
I mean,
you look at
or something.
Some of the women's games in that new pro league that they've got. They're 8,000 to 10,000 fans.
Well, and just look at the NCAA World Series. It's insane, that
It's
atmosphere.
insane. It's packed, and a lot of people don't know they treat that like they do like NCAA basketball games. So you buy one ticket. You go in. When that game's over, they empty the stadium, and then even though it's 20,000 people, it's a different.
It's a fresh 20,000 people every game. Yeah,
it really is. And to see that many people that passionate about the game, regardless if it's girls or men, is cool.
Oh, it's great to see. Pitterona up to third base as he laced a double to the gap, moves over. And now Brock Atwell in the 8th spot for the Stompers. Swing and a miss. Ron, you still cheer for all your guys from the Twins last year?
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is. I mean, you've been with championship teams, and when you go through that experience, there's a bond that doesn't change for a long time.
Yeah.
So still got. This is interesting here because Gonzalo Masmu, who was a Twin for many, many years since 2018, is with the Gremlins.
The Gremlins, that's right. Yeah.
So we're kind of cheering for both sides.
There you go. It's funny. I mean, you say that. I always look for all the guys from the Gators when I come into the park first. Shane Boland was one of the first guys I ran to or to talk to Sean and Ryan later in the day. Ty Sebastian with the Batman. So those are the guys that I look forward to, same as you with the Twins.
And I think you're hitting it on the head. Is that this game is all about relationships. I mean, yeah, okay, who wins this game here? Who wins in Mitchell? Who wins? 10, 20 years down the road, those things aren't what we talk about. We talk about the experiences and the camaraderie that you had on the weekend and traveling. That's what's great about our game. Yeah,
totally. And you've been to many of the Hall of Fame ceremonies, as have I over the years. And when the guys get up and talk about their experiences, there's never a score. Maybe Todd Martin talked about scores, but everybody else talks. Well, Todd talked about Todd, making fun of Todd, good friend. It's the friendships, it's the experiences, it's the beer garden conversations, and the friends that you made along the way.
It really is, 110%.
That's a fair ball down the right side. Juan Cruzera punches one just out onto the grass, and that scores Pitarona, narrows the gap to 4-1. And back to the top of the shop, Teo Migliovaca. You brought so many of these young Argentina players along, Teo and Huemel and Juan. What's it like to see the success that they've had, not just in the ISC, but internationally as well?
It's awesome, and I know even last year at the ISC level, one of my closest friends is Coach Leather. And when you have a friend that has a program that you look up to and you got to get through, I think you can't ask for anything better to go and compete against close friends who admire and understand what that's like. So to have that happen, and the game's so small now, a lot of these guys are playing each other summers throughout the year. They know each other. There is zero secrets. But to see the guys like Teo, I remember picking him up. It was Juan Cruzera, myself, and Mata. We drove out to Midland. All we knew was that he was a fast, young outfielder. 17, 18 years old.
And he did some catching back in the day, too. Because I can remember he and Pablo and Juan Cruzera and Francisco Lombardo, that whole team that was here in 2012 that played in the IC World Tournament that year in Midland, and then went on to win, of course, later that fall, the first of the World Juniors for Argentina. That was their first medal in men's fast pitch.
And he has especially been, he was very developed at a young age. He's one of the only Argentinians who played in 3 World Junior tournaments. Unfortunately, they came up short in 2016 out in Midland. But we picked him up out there, 18 years old. And he was playing with that Drillers team that we had.
That's right, I remember them.
He was just enjoying himself, and to watch the type of player that he's turned into, it's really special.
Chatting with Ron Hackett, head coach of Team USA. You're going to go into this cycle with Bradley Kilpatrick, I presume, as your ace. What's the pitching going to be behind Brad? And you've got a kid coming too, Cody Gibbons, who has got a ton of potential. It looks like.
It does. He has a ton of potential. I think he's just like any 17-year-old kid. He's trying to figure that out. We try to be supportive of him and trying to figure that out and be there for him. And, he's got some good people around him. But it's just like anything else. We're always trying to see what that next one is. We have Javi Caballeros, Jerlin Rutt, John Guizdala, who were in New Zealand.
He's made some great strides, too, John Guizdala.
And then there's still guys that are around the program like Phil Zimmerman. But we are getting Marco Diaz. He's the same as Ochoa. Born in the U.S., dual citizen across
with Mexico.
But they would not release him, so he's got to sit
Something
out.
To work on.
It's fine. It is what it is. But he's committed to it. So 2024, is when he will become eligible for us.
Very good. Very good. Ron Hackett, pleasure for you to join us here on the broadcast. Thanks for your time. We'll let you go back to enjoying the game in peace and quiet.
Absolutely.
Don't have to talk, but thanks for joining us here as always.
Thanks so much, Blair.
Right,
Appreciate
thanks,
you having
Ron.
me on.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Ron Hackett, Team USA. Pitching change for Niagara Stompers. Ryan French on in relief of Martin Gonzalez. 4-1.
Now pitching for Niagara
As
Stompers, number 17.
Peterona came
Ryan
around to score
French.
for the Stompers while we were talking with Ron Hackett. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you, Joe Todd, for making the time and space to get Ron Hackett in here to have a chat. We're going to be joined by Jon Stewart, head coach of Team Canada, coming up in another
Starting
inning
up
or
the
so.
third inning for New York.
Eric Ochoa to the dish. Get Joe Todd back in here.
Eric Ochoa.
Joe Peterona hammered a double off the fence. How did he come around? Peterona, double. Reese Evans, ground out. Brock Atwell, K, and then a single by Juan Cruzera.
Scored
Brought
upon
in
that Zara.
Peterona, yeah.
That outfield hit down the line.
You get a good look at Eric Ochoa. Just off the outside corner. Ryan French. One of many arms, Joe, on this Niagara Stompers team. One of the biggest decisions. We talked about decisions that teams are going to have to make. Who are the three pitchers going to be? You know, Huemo Mata is going to be one of them.
Yes.
Martin Gonzalez is probably going to be one of them. Who's the third pitcher for the Stompers?
Great question.
Schiller tries to backhand it, and shot puts one over in the general direction of Peterona at first. Clanks off the glove. Our harsh scoring Joe Todd says
Now stepping into the batter's box.
base
for New York.
hit. Oh, you're getting
Right
generous.
fielder, number 30.
He would have been new to his backhand. I don't think he.
Okay.
Let's see the replay.
I think that was a base hit, too. I'm just ribbing you.
Okay.
You're hard scoring. I think that was a base hit, too. I was going to take a spectacular play to get him. Brian Avery to the dish. Avery flew out to right. This Gremlins squad team, Joe, it just keeps coming. There's no breaks in this lineup.
1 through 9, just loaded.
And I would argue about 1 through 13 on the bench, too.
Can only bat 9.
You can only bat 9, but the guys you can bring in if somebody's having an off game. Wayne Laulu on the bench here. Called strike.
Nice pitch there by Ryan French.
Zenon Winters not in the lineup this game. Andrew Kirkpatrick can come in and hit at any time. Tani Mumu, who played second base for the New Zealand Major Sox and hit the ball well down in Argentina. He was with the Gremlins last year, strictly as a pinch runner, as Avery chases one in his eyes for strike 3.
He pinch ran last night, too.
Pinch ran last night, but he's a kid who can play second base and go hit the ball.
To the plate for New York. Number 41, Cole Evans.
Cole Evans to the plate. I don't know whether Cole misplaced a jersey or they didn't get the right number when they printed up these ones. Fouls this one off for strike 1.
It's always a fun time of the year when you're handing out uniforms and making sure. We got 3 uniform connections, making sure that everybody gets the right piece and the right number. I remember those days.
Adult babysitting, running a ball team.
Yes.
Just off the dish. Pace of this one is slowed.
Yes.
In for a strike inside corner. Good pitch there from Ryan French. Tied up Cole Evans. Swing and a miss. Evans down on strikes. Good drop there from Ryan French.
Second out brings to the plate.
Blake Hunter to the plate. Joe, the end of the long day for us. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., semifinals, noon, championship game. Diamond assignments to be determined, but you can just about expect Hill United to be on this diamond on Softball Premier TV, and that is their right. It is their tournament. We'll see
The
who
local
matches
people
up
have really
with the
supported
Chiefs.
their games too.
The home crowds indeed have been out for the Chiefs games. Just off the outside corner. Ten and 12 Eastern Time for that semifinal and championship game. Be sure to join Joe Todd, Peter Labardius for the semifinal. Joe and I will bring you the championship game. Inside corner, Blake Hunter nods in agreement.
Ryan French has done a great job coming off the bench.
Well, Gonzalez went the 2 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 Ks. This one punch foul down the right side. I think, Joe, if you're Larry Lynch, the score remains the same. You just leave Huemo Mata on the bench and hope that he's feeling better. On the move was Eric Ochoa. Ball 4 to Blake Hunter. Ryan French asking where that pitch missed.
Number 12 draws a walk, bringing to the plate.
So Cruz Zero will go out to the mound. This will be his defensive conference of the inning. Ladislav Malarzouk to the dish. 8 batter for the Gremlins. Down on strikes in the second. Ochoa at second base, Hunter at first. That's sandwiched around a couple of strikeouts by Ryan French. Chopper in the infield again. Schiller in and out of the glove in the backhand, but had the presence of mind to flip it to Reese Evans covering third, and they get the force on Ochoa to get out of the inning. Ryan French works into and out of trouble. We'll go to the home half of the third. We're off like a herd of turtles here.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca.
Long time in between innings for Jack Besgrove. Joe, I didn't watch to see if he was down throwing on the sidelines or not, but boy, it seemed like he was in there for about 20 minutes.
Yes.
Right fielder, number 00, Blaine Milham.
In for a strike to Blaine Milheim his second time around. Blaine grounded out to Cole Evans.
Who didn't in that inning?
Yeah, I think everybody hit the ball to Cole Evans or in that general direction in the first.
Nice.
A little bit of change of speed, and it dips at the plate. Oh, I'm just super impressed with this kid in person. The movement on his ball is astounding.
And it's a strike.
Mullins creeps outside. That got a little bit more of the plate than they wanted, and Milheim fouls it hard into the screen. Toronto Batman, Oswegan Redmond on the dime behind us. That's the last of the round robin games besides this one. Punch foul again down the right side. Stay with us. Coming up in the fourth inning, we're going to talk with Jon Stewart, head coach of Team Canada, silver medal, the WBSC World Championship, November, December. John out last weekend in Mitchell, Ontario, taking a look at the Canadian prospects. Here again this week, flying in from BC, where he's based, just off the plate. Guy I'd like to talk to after all of this, Joe, is Nick Mullins and see what he thinks about handling Jack Besgrove here. Topped down third base. Strome Remeke airmails the throw. That goes into the dugout. And he doesn't get the base he's going to. Going to go take off all the protective gear and get back to second base. Maybe just a little too casual in that throw, Joe?
Yeah, I think he took his time, and I think he should have gunned it there. Especially with the speedy Blaine Milheim going down the line.
So Schiller looks at ball one. High hopper, that's going to get through the infield. Here comes Milheim. He'll score standing up. They won't have a chance to get him the way he runs. And Schiller with an RBI single and make it 4-2.
batter's box for.
Isn't it funny how an error will set up a whole inning?
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes. Errors and walks.
So that's an unearned run against Besgrove, and just off the corner to Big Marshall Cronk. He got Cronk, Joe, with just an absolute beauty of a changeup back on the first.
And it was a lengthy at bat, too. He fought off a lot of pitches.
And big rise ball. Cronk tied up inside. Can't get the barrel on that one. Just misses low with a little curve. Bends in the drop on the outside corner. Boy, I know it's repetitive, but just the movement on his pitches. That ball fell off a table.
Pretty to watch.
This one hard hit, center field. Beninoka back to the track, falls through and over the fence. So that's a catch and carry out of bounds, and Cam Schiller will get to move up to second base. Had that discussion earlier, Joe, didn't we, with what happens when a catch is made like that and it's carried out of play. It's an extra base for the runner.
And a great play there by center fielder
Beninoka
to track that ball and stay with it. It was a very high ball that was up in the air for a long time. It just kept carrying.
Oh, he was backpedaling the whole way, too.
Yeah.
Down low to Blake Underwood. That's a couple of hard hit balls, though, this inning, too. So, second time through, Stompers. Getting a look at Jack Besgrove. Ladislav Malarczuk over near the bag, and this one's in the dirt. Cam Schiller will come around and score as a couple of fielding miscues here. He took a look at third, perhaps ill-advisedly. Probably should have just focused on getting the out, and I'm going to go with a throwing error on Malarczuk.
He was off balance when he released the ball. He didn't have his feet planted.
He did not, but he took a look at third before he ultimately decided to go to first, and I think that might be it for Besgrove. It's just kind of come unraveled here. Defense not helping him. Greg Leather out for a chat. I'm sure that's the conversation. Let's just get it together here in the infield. So no pitching change, just a visit. We got ourselves a nice tight ball game now,
yes.
4-3.
Yep.
Pitterona, who smoked one into the gap. Clearly he's seen the ball well. And in with the rise ball, low rise for a strike. That one misses out and away. And misses downstairs. Joe, as we talked earlier, these are the top two ranked teams. Gremlins decisively number one. in those early rankings. But the Stompers also consensus number 2. And in for a strike.
Second batch of rankings should be due out, I would think, end of probably going into next weekend.
I would think so. After this tournament, it would seem to me that would be a good time to get the next batch in. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We've got a committee of 15 people this year, so it's a lot of voting and tabulating to do. Somebody's going to have to take their socks off to do the math. Not me.
Used to be your job.
Yeah, it used to be. Called strike 3. Bends in a strike in the outside corner. 2 down. Reese Evans to the dish.
Brings to the plate from Niagara Stompers, third baseman, number 27, Reese Evans.
Blake Underwood out at first. And this one punch foul out of play. One and one. Reese Evans takes a look down. Brad Thompson's in the third base coach's box right now. Kyle Linton's over at first. Larry Lynch in the dugout. That one misses downstairs. Joe, I'm sure Larry Lynch happy to just be running one team here this weekend. Last week also had the Waterloo Jack Slammers, the Legends entry. Next week he is tournament director at the Peligro Cup along with the Stompers. This one to the screen and on the move, Underwood. Generous hop off the screen. Nick Mullins, strong arm down to second base. Not as good as the hop that Josh McGovern got earlier today.
Nice and clean.
That was a member's bounce that McGovern got. 3 and 1. It was a long inning for Besgrove. And there's a called strike. So full count. 2 down on the inning. This is just the 6th batter of the inning, but he's gone full count, it feels like, on just about everybody.
And he sat on the bench for a long time.
Yes. There's a little one hopper. Besgrove will take that himself. Underhand toss to Ochoa. That'll be the end of that. But they get a couple more and make it a close ball game. 4-3 for the New York Gremlins, leading the Niagara Stompers through just 3 complete. Stay with us. Coming up, Jon Stewart, head coach, Team Canada, is going to join us. Back here at the Chiefs Challenge and continuing the interview sessions tonight, Jon Stewart, head coach of Team Canada. John, welcome in. You have burning up the airways here with travel back and forth the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been great. It was in Mitchell last weekend, and then, of course, Simcoe this weekend. It's been great to get out early and see some great ball. The top 4 teams here that are going on to tomorrow are probably the top 4 in the world right now. So it's great to be here live, that's for sure.
You get to see all of the top pitchers here right now, and Let's start with the WBSC World Cup. We'll touch on a couple of things. We'll come back to all the scouting and the next cycle that we're already into. It seems like so quickly. But let's take us through the WBC World Cup. Off season for Canada. You come home with a silver medal, just one game short. But you guys had a really good 10 days down in New Zealand.
We did, and I'm proud of the guys, and we were talking with the coaching staff afterwards, and it was tough. We went down there early, and we lost Chase and Hill very early in the pre-tournament, which was a big blow, but we were happy. We don't like to use the word overachieve, but it was our off season, and I thought our pitching was great, our defense was good, our hitting just wasn't there the last couple games, and whether that's due to timing or off season or whatever the case may be, but our hitting had to be better in that gold medal game, and even the game before when we only won 1-0.
Yeah, you had a real tight one with Cuba. Not what you expected, I wouldn't think, out of Cuba.
No, and I mean, they're a scrappy team, and their pitcher pitched a good game, real smart. I mean, thankfully for us, Cleary pitched a gem and shut him out, and that helped us. And our whole team was together in a banquet room and watched the Argentina versus Australia game to get to the gold medal game, and it was that was good. And we didn't know who we were going to get, and we got the young kid Jack Besgrove, and what a performance he put on and is continuing to put on.
Well, we're watching him here tonight as he is making his North American debut. Were you guys geared up for Argentina? Was it something different having to face Australia?
I hate to say that we were, but I think a lot of our players, and we talked about this after that game with Argentina and Australia, is that we were maybe in the back of our minds thinking it was going to be our Argentina. So we talked about that, and we tried to make sure that our focus was going forward against Australia. We knew we had beaten Jack in the round robin, and we had a good game. He made adjustments, and we didn't. And it's as simple as that.
He has certainly proven to not be a one-hit wonder, dominating in that U23 World Cup. Looked like a man amongst boys there. What was it that he showed in that game where you guys just couldn't get good contact?
We didn't see the determination and what's the word I'm looking for? But his focus and his mental game in that gold medal game, he was focused on one thing. And I think that first game we played in the round robin, it was maybe his first game against one of the higher caliber national teams. And he was so determined, you could see it in his eyes and his body language, and it was going to take our absolute best to beat him, and we didn't have our best that day.
No, it was a tough game for you guys right from the get-go. Talking with Jon Stewart, head coach of Team Canada. So you come home with a silver medal, and a new cycle begins almost immediately.
Yeah, we're, of course, as you know, in 2025, the Worlds are in Prince Albert, and we're supposed to be playing in a qualifier this summer. We don't know where, we don't know when. We haven't got any information on that. So, it's a lot of scouting this summer, and then next year is going to be a staging, and we don't know exactly when that's going to be, but that's going to be in Prince Albert as well. So this year, for this summer, it's going to be a lot of scouting, a lot of communication with the players, the athletes pool, and if and when we do find out when the qualifier is, it's we'll see who's available to make it, because we don't actually have to go, but we will go. Just I think it's important that Canada goes, and to get some newer players. As you know, every year there's more and more of the core guys retiring. So, and I think that's going to be the case more than ever after 2025. So we got to start looking at some younger guys and getting some more guys getting their feet wet in the national team uniform.
You've got a couple of immediate holes to fill, the retirements from the national team of Derek Mason and Jason Hill. There's some couple of guys that also just made really great debuts, Quentin Bruce among them here in 2022.
Yeah, Quentin, in my opinion, and it's, it can definitely be argued, but I think he's the best hitter in Canada right now, and I think he has been for a year and a half, maybe 2 years. He was our top hitter at the Worlds. Salt of the earth guy, wants to learn, listens, great teammate, great attitude, and it's good to see for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Just an unprecedented year from Quentin last year. All tournament, all world, every tournament he played in, and a great kid. Absolutely. Yeah. So a couple of holes to fill there, and then who have you got your eye on? Anybody that has caught your eye here the last couple of weeks that maybe wasn't on your radar screen previously?
Yeah, I was down in Argentina for the U23s and following them pretty closely, and it was, not the result they wanted, but I got to see a lot of these younger guys, and it was really a U25 event with so I got to see a lot of these guys, just to see how their body language is, their attitude, and I was pleasantly surprised with a lot. And then coming out here and seeing Riley Mannion pitched how he did last night, it's top notch, and that's what he's got to do to be a world class player. So he's on the radar. There's our team's getting older, and the national team core players, I should say, is getting older. So we, a guy like Riley Mannion and then the McKay brothers are impressive. And there's a number of them. Another guy who was a late fill-in for New Zealand was Ty Sebastian, and he just hits the ball. He's amazing,
everywhere,
anywhere and everywhere. And I really like his approach. We talked about it last year, Ty and I, about how he's got a two-strike approach, and I love that because he doesn't strike out often, and that's one thing with that we found in the last two events, that we're striking out too much. We got to put the ball in play. We got to make the defense make at least. Hopefully they make a mistake, but they can't make a mistake if you're striking out. If you put the ball in play, as that there's anything can happen. So we've got to have that approach with the two-strike approach and not try and. It's always nice when you hit home runs, but we got to put the ball in play.
Couple of kids from Newfoundland. I'm sure you guys are taking a look at Jordan Pomeroy, Peter Cavanaugh as well. We just saw them on the field here in the game before this one.
Yeah, Jordan Pomeroy is a phenomenal player. Just that catch he made last week in Mitchell.
Everybody in the world has seen that now.
100%. And he's a great kid. He struggled down at the U23s, but their whole team did. And he hasn't come into form yet. Last year he was just on a tear.
Yeah.
And this year, the pitchers make adjustments. So now it's up to him to make the adjustments. But he's 100% in the plans for the future for sure. Peter Cavanaugh's another guy that we're keeping an eye on. And I know he banged up his wrist last night, and it was good to see him play through it and came up with a home run. And he's played some good ball, and there's guys like Jordan Hudson, who seen him last week. He looked good. Yancey looks good. So there's a lot of up and comers that are, the next 2 years are going to be really important to make our final roster for Prince Albert. And I want tough decisions. Our whole staff wants to make tough decisions. That's what that's our job. And if we've got a 16-man roster and we got 32 guys that could be on that 16-man roster, there's going to be some guys disappointed, but that's what we want, is the competition.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you guys at the club team events, because I'm sure you're going to want to be taking a good look at how everybody is responding to pressure in those types of situations. Jon Stewart, thanks for joining us here on the broadcast. Always a pleasure to sit and chat with you, my friend, and we'll look forward to a Team Canada event later this year, and we'll see how things develop.
Yeah, no, absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. You guys do a great job, and it's great for the sport of men's fast pitch, and we truly appreciate it. I don't think you guys get told that enough, so thank you.
Thank you for the kind words as always. Jon Stewart, head coach Team Canada, joining us. We heard from both those sides in North America here. We'll take a break. Jon, our pleasure. Thank you.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca.
For the latest in softball innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas. Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more. The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Become a Premier member now. SoftballPremierTV.com. Live it on Softball Premier.
Joe Todd, welcome back. Huemo Mata on to pitch for the Niagara Stompers. Pretty much 3 up, 3 down for the time we were talking to Jon Stewart. Not much across.
No. Nice and clean.
This game into the 5th inning. We talked to Larry Lynch pregame about Huemo Mata not getting the start. He said Huemo not feeling well, some congestion in the head. He just was not right, but he also said that we'd see how things progressed, and if he felt up to it, they might get him a couple of innings at the end of the game. And I think the score is helping dictate that. In a close game here, you want to shut the door and maybe give your bats a chance.
Yes, exactly.
Starting off the 5th inning for New York.
Benanoka, Eric Ochoa, and Brian Abry. 3-4-5 for the New York Gremlins.
Center fielder, number 89, Ben.
I really like what Jon Stewart just had to say there, Joe, about competition for all the spots on Team Canada. Would love if there were 32 guys for 16 spots, and I think there could be at least 24 for those 16. I start thinking about some of the names that they're going to have under consideration.
Yes, it's going to be a great year to see the progression and the growth of these turnover of players potentially coming.
Well, you know, there's a couple of spots available right away with Mason and Jason Hill. This one is drilled out into the gap, past a diving Teo Migliavaca. Ricochets off the fence, Anoka in full flight, 2, 3, 4 strides in between second and third, and he cruises into third base with a triple.
Great wheels by Anoka.
I don't think there's anybody, Joe, in full flight that goes faster first to third than Ben Anoka. He takes so few strides because he has such long legs, long strides in between the bases. Once he's going, it's so fast.
And he turns the corners very well.
Eric Ochoa to the dish.
Teo Migliavaca just missed that one.
Yes, not by much. Called a strike on the outside corner. Boy, Joe, it is 0 dark 30 out behind the trees there.
Yeah. Very cloudy, very overcast.
Time called by Ochoa. We will go to the home plate camera just for a second here. We'll give you a look at the trees. Yeah, you can see how dark it is out there in the outfield. Mata misses upstairs. Good pop in the glove, though, Joe. A little bit of pace.
Yes.
Still don't think he's anywhere near 100% at this point.
No, he's not ready. Not totally yet, and it's still early in the year, his second weekend.
Oh, what a play over there by Evans.
Oh.
Wow, what a play. Oh, safe actually at the bag. Rick Havercroft saying Pitterona off the bag. I can't believe he went up in the air and got that. Let's watch the replay here. super high hopper. Yeah, Pitterona came off the bag early. I think he was anticipating having to go home. Anoka, a couple of steps off the base, but...
Well, he was in shock, too, of how great of a grab that was.
Well, yeah, he was in danger of getting tagged out there because Evans' momentum was actually taking him right into Anoka. Boy, these guys can play.
Yes.
First pitch running goes Ochoa, and he gets a Bronx cheer from the Gremlins for the stolen base. Boy, he was running like he was being chased. This one fouled off. So runners in second and third. Ochoa at second, Ben Anoka at third, Brian Avery at the dish. The Gremlins trying to build that lead back up. 0-2, Brian Avery. That skips through the wickets. Ben Anoka will trot home. A pitch short hop. Juan Cruzera got through the legs and then rattled around the fence. You see the pitch here. It's in the dirt. Kicks off the plate.
Took a tough bounce on him, too.
Yeah, Anoka just cruises home. So 5-3 now, Gremlins. That pitches misses downstairs. So 2-2, Brian Avery. This one smoked to center, but right at Migliavaca. Into score is Eric Ochoa. Sac fly, RBI for Brian Avery. Boy, he hit it on the screws on a line, but right at Teo Migliavaca. I don't even think he moved.
He did not move. Watch the replay here.
Now stepping into the box for New York.
Yeah, just set himself up to throw, and that was it. But Eric Ochoa easily scores. So they get those 2 runs back, Joe. Reestablish that lead, now 6-3.
Nice little cushion they're building.
Joy's watching Cole Evans on deck to every pitch with Mata. Evans working on his timing. A lot of guys just go up there and haphazardly swing the bat when they're in the on-deck circle, not Cole Evans.
Student of the game.
There's a called strike. And nibbles on that outside corner for a call. Joe, I certainly think that Larry Lynch was hoping that Huimo Mata was going to come in and maybe shut the door, but
not to be.
No.
Ryan French had done a great job.
Well, he kept the door shut for a couple of innings.
His line score was 2 innings, 0 runs, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, and 1 walk.
You know, Larry told us that Huimo congested in the head, and he was sweating all day too. He's certainly got that going on right now. He's got the shine going on in the face.
Yes.
He really looks like he is got something going on.
Yeah, he needs to make sure he gets lots of water.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely want to stay hydrated when you're sweating like that. Ball 4, Cole Evans works a walk. And then we'll bring up Blake Hunter.
New York, designated player number 12, Blake Hunter.
Talked about Hunter making the move over to the Gremlins. Joe from Grand Prairie. Had been with the JB team for a few years prior to that. Mata in with a strike.
Nice movement on that pitch. Nice curve cutting in on the inside portion of the plate.
Yeah, another curve ball.
Took a little bit off that. Just a variance of speed.
Joe, we're the last game of the night. I see the Oswegan Redmen and the Toronto Batmen wrapping up their game over on the Diamond 2. See if we can get a score for you on that one before we wrap up here. On the move is Evans as that one squirted out of the glove of Juan Cruzera. Kind of a sidearm flip down in the general direction of second.
Probably not a good attempt.
No, those can go awry at the best of times. Sometimes it's better just
eat it.
Yeah, swallow it, put it in your pocket. Swing and a miss. Hunter underneath, chase the rise ball up and out of the zone. Ladislav Malor-Zook. 2 down. 2 in.
First strikeout for Mata after facing 5 batters. Second out of the inning.
There's a called strike. I don't know who the teams are, Joe, down in Paraná. I know a couple of team names, but I wonder how often Ladislav Malor-Zook and Huemo Mata and Juan Zera get to face each other. Kind of like the St. John's League that we talk about, or some of the other circumstances where guys see each other all year long.
Probably
There's
great
a called
friends.
strike. Well, they're all friends for sure.
Huemo Mata's got a little bit of a smile on his face.
Well, I'm sure there are some personal debts that have to get paid up at the end of the season. Who has the most hits, the most strikeouts? I do know one thing. Huemo Mata has never won the Argentina National Championship down there in Paraná. Yeah. High hopper to Schiller. Sidearm sling across. They get Ladislav Malor-Zook at first. Gremlins pad the lead. They're out in front 6-3. We'll go to home half. Sorry, top of. No, you're right. Bottom of the 5th. My mistake. Bottom of 5. Blaine Milheim, Cam Schiller, Marshall Kronk, 2, 3, 4. The meat of the Niagara Stompers order. This is where they pushed across a couple of runs back in the third. Kind of wobbled a little bit, Joe, did Jack Besgrove, but righted the ship in the fourth. 3 up, 3 down. Oh, that curve just broke right in on the hands.
Great movement. But this is now the 5th inning, so Stompers have to find a reply.
Well, it's their third look at him coming through. There's a dipper on the outside corner for a strike. 0-2 on Milheim. He fouls that one straight back to the screen. Just misses our home plate camera.
The top 3 batters for the Stompers have at least picked up a hit. The rest of the lineup still hasn't graced the other part, other than Juan Cruz there at the bottom.
Chases upstairs for strike 3. Blaine Milheim down on strikes.
Okay, starts off the inning.
Cam Schiller reached base twice.
Now stepping into the batter's box for Niagara, shortstop, number 3, Cam Schiller.
He chases the rise ball upstairs. And swing and a miss. That's that big sweeping hook curve.
Just takes a little bit off of that pitch, too. It just makes it so elusive.
Set up his way outside. Can't get Schiller to chase that one. Jon Stewart talked about the focus that Jack Besgrove have. Called strike 3 outside corner. I think Cam Schiller, the disbelief because Nick Mullins caught that going across into the other batter's box, but it bit the front of the plate getting there.
It's not where it ends up in the catcher's mitt.
Left fielder, number 20.
Marshall Kronk to the plate.
Number 7, Marshall Kronk.
And that's the change drop. It drops that one in high strike. He got Kronk on that earlier in the game. And there's the low change up. I mean, it's the same pitch. It's just a different location. It's very effective. They doubled up on it. Give credit to Nick Mullins there for doubling up. There's a high hopper. That'll be foul. Nick Mullins still quick as a cat here. His third game of the day.
Well, Jack Besgrove will love working with Nick Mullins. Very smart.
Oh, very smart, very smooth behind the plate. Great receiver. Calls a great game. And this misses downstairs. Crowd's thinned out a little bit here, Joe, as we were on in the evening. 10 p.m. just on the nose. Kronk fouls that one off. If you've been with us all day, bless you for staying with us here on Softball Premier TV. Randy Frame, I know, has been watching virtually all day out in Truro, Nova Scotia, or thereabouts. I think it's Truro. Chopper over the head of Besgrove, coming across. Evans makes the play in behind the bag. Boy, he must have went 14, 15 feet to go get those Joe over to his left, and then a good strong throw to get Kronk. The shortstops in this game just continue to amaze me.
The range, just phenomenal.
After 5 innings, score.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon. Welcome.
Wamata doing some landscaping out in front of the pitching board, just making sure that the landing area is smooth enough. Joe mentioned Randy Frame, of course, the host of Outside the Chute, the outstanding fast pitch podcast that he's been hosting now for over 2 years. Just done an absolutely tremendous job. Steve Mullally, who's going to be here tomorrow. Jason Hill with the Dust Up podcast. Hilly and Lolly, or to my eternal amusement, Molly and Lily. I heard somebody say that, and we just about had a fan wear one over there for the second time tonight. That's over to our left on the third base side. I heard somebody say that, and I just giggled for about an hour afterwards. Mullen's down to have a quick conference with Greg Leather. It's probably about what steakhouse they're going to go to. Mullen's a frequent guest in those steak dinners with Greg Leather, Greg Hicks, Nick McCurry, Matt Allen, the Gremlins coaching brain trust.
Sometimes Varm joins him.
Oh, I think quite often Varm Matiozian is there. Reese Casely will join the squad, the coaching staff, almost as big as the lineup. Boy, Joe, with Jack Besgrove coming on board, this team looks set for the next 10 years.
Yes, very solid.
Stompers look like they could be around for a long time, too, building around Mata, Gonzalez, Pitterona, Brock Atwell's a young guy, Reese Evans. Brother Act, too, with Reese and Cole. Forgot about that.
Yep.
This is, above all, Joe, as you well know, a family-oriented game. Fathers and sons, brothers, cousins. Hammered out to right field, Nick Mullins. What's he, 2 for 3 or 3 for 3?
2 for 3.
Brings to the plate the leadoff hitter for New York.
And he does this game in, game out, tournament in, tournament out, year in, year out. Contributes hits at the bottom of the order. We just talked about his defense, the leadership that he brings to, the quiet leadership that he brings to this team, and a team full of guys that are vocal. People listen when Nick Mullins speaks. Pinch runner, Mumu. Tawny Mumu on to run for Nick Mullins. Mumu, the young Kiwi, soaking up the atmosphere with the Gremlins. And this seems to be the thing, Joe. You come in as a young player to one of the top teams, Nick White doing it this year with the Hill United Chiefs. You get to soak in the atmosphere, see how it's done, and then you take that off to another team and you try to instill that when you get the opportunity.
I remember when Ladislav Malazuk came over, like how many years ago?
10 at least,
yes, yeah. Those same growing pains.
Yep. Now he's the veteran, helping to pave the way. Speaking of Matty Watt, the dish, or Matty Watt played with our Toronto Gators team 2011. You knew bigger things were in store. Led off the game with a home run. That's just about 2 hours ago. About an hour and 50 minutes. I think we started at 8:20, I think we said, right?
Yes, we did.
About 10:06, 10:07.
Yep.
Gremlins have had this one under control almost right from the get-go, Joe, but the Stompers have clawed back close. And then the Gremlins pushed a couple extra across. That gets us to where we're at right now. That's 6-3 lead for a team from Clifton Park, New York. Been in the Final Four, Joe, all the way back to this current inception of the Gremlins, going back to 2012. And the Chicago, New York team even before that.
Patsies?
I wouldn't necessarily count Patsies as the same interpretation as this this Gremlins squad. 2009 they were, or 2008 at least, they started as the New York Knights, if you remember back in ISC2 in 08. Yes. Made the jump up to ISC 2009. I think they were the Chicago, New York Gremlins for a couple of years. Swing and a miss. Matthew Waugh down on strikes. But certainly this New York Gremlins team as it exists now dates back to 2012. 2013, of course, that memorable 2-game set with the Hill United Chiefs in the winter bracket final, and then again in the championship game. Perfect game by Adam Folkert in the winter bracket final, and of course extra innings. Jamie Shields sliding in safe underneath the tag for the Hill United Chiefs to give them their first championship in 2013.
I put Jamie Shields on the front cover of the IC guy.
It did. It did. Right back up the middle. Watch Tani Mumu fly around the bases here. And he'll score standing up without a throw. Scoring from first on a single, Joe, directly up the middle. Maybe we'll throw him in that mix with Alan Pecker.
We're going to have a great relay team.
So 7-3 now. So Remeke will make his way to the dugout, and out will pop number 66 for the New York Gremlins.
New York,
Gonzalo Masmu, a good young Argentina player.
Batting for New York, number 89.
Called strike.
Ben Anoka.
Well, Joe, if the plan was to try and keep it close by bringing in Huemo Mana, that hasn't worked.
No.
He is, I as we've said, not quite at 100% physically. And certainly he is just working on things here and trying to spot pitches and not too worried about the result today. Both these teams were always going to make the playoff round. It's just a question of who they were going to play tomorrow. Hill United will be ranked first out of the final four. And second place, presumably, but not assuredly, will go to the Bear Creek Express. Boy, that had some break on it.
Yes, a beautiful pitch.
Third place as of right now, I think, will go to the New York Gremlins. Yeah, Bear Creek will finish ahead of New York no matter what because they won that game last night, so they get the head-to-head tiebreaker. This one downstairs skips in. Zara does a good job to block that. So one will play 4, which looks like Hill United and Niagara Stompers as of this particular moment. And 2 will play 3, which are a rematch of the Friday night games.
Yes. Kind of like Groundhog Day.
Kind of like Groundhog Day, indeed. I think just exactly like Groundhog Day. Up and in to Anoka, ball 4. Gonzalo Mosmu was on the move. We'll bring to the plate Eric Ochoa. Couple of runners aboard. Opportunity for Ochoa to drive in a couple more runs. Had an RBI back in the first.
2 for 3. 2 runs scored.
That is punched out to center. Migliavaca will range across, make the grab, get it back into Schiller. Gonzalo Mosmu not even concerned about leaving the area of the base. Brian Avery back to the dish.
Right fielder, number 33.
Brian had that hard punch out to Tio Migliavaca back in the 5th inning. Line drive catch that sacrifice fly, scored a run.
Yeah, he took him right back to the fence. Kevin Quipp's still here, right to the bitter end. Kevin with us last weekend at the ISC Canada East qualifier in Mitchell. Son, is it Colton?
Colton, yep.
Colton played for the Elmira Expos here this weekend too. Avery's going to wear out the screen, fouling him back.
It's going to be a good battle here. I looked watching these two.
Well, you know, there's this developing rivalry between Canada and Argentina. They met in the championship of the Pan Am final. That pitch, I guess, just missed downstairs. And it seemed like they were on a collision course for the gold medal game. And as we talked about with Jon Stewart, it ended up being Australia. Inside to Avery, dances out of the way of that.
Does after he receives the call from the umpire. facial expressions are priceless.
That's poked out to right. That's going to get down for a base hit. Here comes one, and Gonzalo Masmu make it 8-3. Beninoka cruised around to third base. Another RBI for Brian Avery.
Stepping into the batter's box.
Cole Evans, a chance to add on to the lead.
Shortstop, number 41, Cole.
Joe Toronto Batman won that game 5-2 over the Oswegan Redmen. Thanks to Frankie Billingsley for the update. Evans a double back in the first, strikeout in the third, and then a walk. Got up to second base in the fifth. Right down Davis drive.
Yes. Cole
Middle,
Evans
middle.
says, come again that way, and I'll greet it.
Yeah, I don't think Cole Evans is going to take that pitch twice. Chop foul. Full dark around the field. Upstairs from Mata, up and in. Evans taking all the way.
Mata has thrown a lot of pitches, even in a short 2 innings of work.
Yeah, it feels like he's thrown 150 like he did in the championship last year, and it's only in 2 innings of work. Oh, and misses downstairs. Runners on first and third. It's Brian Avery over at first and Benny Anoka up at third base. Called strike three. Down goes Cole Evans, New York Gremlins, but they score a couple more, push the lead out to 8-3. Go to the home half of the sixth. Stompers, some work to do.
Score the night inning.
Lunch.
Blake Underwood,
Left field.
Pitterona, Reese Evans as the Stompers chasing 5. That's the widest the deficit has been all game, Joe.
Yes, they just keep adding runs.
Well, we talked about it earlier in the game. This Gremlins offense, it just keeps coming and coming.
Great change, yep.
I can't say enough about the movement on his pitches. And this one up and in, and good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Blake Underwood. Makes short work. The leadoff batter for the Stompers here, home half of the sixth. Peter Rona. And Reese Evans, pair of Kiwis. Looks at a strike. You getting anything?
No. Trying.
Not the same as last night, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he's throwing anywhere near as hard as last night.
That last strikeout pitch to Blake Underwood had some pepper on it.
There's the changeup again, and it just dies underneath the bat of Peter Rona.
2 out. Next batter for Niagara.
Pair of strikeouts to open up the sixth here. Reese Evans. A couple of groundouts in his ledger. And the changeup again. They're going to that pretty often right here, right now. It's working for him. The movement on it is just ridiculous.
The ability to throw it for a strike consistently.
And then comes in with the high, hard stuff. $10 a.m. tomorrow, semifinals. Noon final. Or noonish, at least, anyway. Called strike 3. Boy, that was a quick, efficient inning. Good morning, good afternoon, good night again. Down goes Reese Evans. Down go the Stompers in the bottom of the 6th. We'll go to the top of the 7th. We finally made it to the 7th inning. Gremlins coming back up.
Leadoff batter for the Gremlins. The designated player, Blake Hunter. Top of the 7th inning. Blake 0 for 2 so far, 2 strikeouts. A walk sandwich in between that in the 3rd inning. The 3rd inning of work for Heimu Moata. Giving up 4 runs since he's come in, 4 hits. 3 strikeouts so far for Imada. Blake Hunter would love to get himself on that stat sheet tonight. Did a high and outside. Juan Cruz there are just unable to get a good grip on that.
Been a long day for everybody, Joe. The catchers, the pitchers, the umpires. This one is popped up short right. In fact, it'll be his second baseman, Brock Atwell, who'll go track that one down just onto the grass.
Second baseman, number 24, Ladislav.
Ladislav Malerzuk will come back up to the plate. Strikeout, fielder's choice, ground out for Ladislav. Nick Mullins waits on deck. 2 for 3 is Nick Mullins. Chopper in the infield, and Cam Schiller tried the backhand, pulled the glove up, didn't get the hop he was expecting, and right under the glove. So what do you do there? He didn't get a glove on it.
Watch the replay here. Thought he did.
No, I think it took a low hop. He was pulling the glove up before the ball got to him.
A lady single.
You're going single? Okay.
I get generous as the day goes on.
Oh, do you? Upstairs to Nick Mullins. Matthew Waugh looking for maybe his 5th at bat. You don't often see that in a fast pitch softball game. 5 at bats in a 7-inning game.
I'd be shadowing Atwell over a little bit more.
Mata bends in a little change of his own.
Just missing low.
Doug Roberts reminds us of another guy who had a pretty good rise curve. Another lefty, Mike Piechnik.
Peaches.
Mullins swings through. I think he thought that was strike 3. He was wandering towards the dugout and reminded himself, oh, that's only 2. 3-2. Punched out to right. Milheim. He did up his jersey. I was looking for the floppy jersey, top. But he's done it up at the top there. Kind of had the Mr. T look going unbuttoned halfway down. Matty Waugh back to the dish. 2 down here, top of the 7th inning. Laced right back up the middle. Huemo Mata ducked. Get out of the way of that. Kind of threw the glove up after the fact. Matty Waugh 2 for 5.
Good slap there by Waugh.
Third baseman, number 6, Jerome Remicki.
Jerome Remicki to the plate. Romy's hit the ball hard a couple of times today, too. 2 for 4. Some of these hops off the screen are making life interesting for the catchers. The time Zara got turned around, the ball was almost past him again. Past him coming and going. Malazuk's up to third. Remeke, good eye. Very choosy. Even with an 8-3 lead, you still don't want to develop bad habits.
No. Stay in the routine.
Upstairs, Mata with a backwards glance at the landing area. Notice that happens a lot when guys miss their spots.
Better blame it on something.
Yeah. This one is knocked out to short center. That will bring across 1 and 2. Make it 10-3. We needed those 2 runs an inning ago.
2 innings ago.
2 innings ago would have been even better.
Now stepping to the plate for New York, their center fielder, number 89, Ben.
But hey, let's get them all on the top of the 7th.
Sure.
Beninoka to the dish. As you see those 2 runs come in, Jerome Remeke picks up a couple more RBIs, gives him 3 on the night. Chopper in the infield. Evans. Good play to go get Beninoka for the final out of the inning. Ramblers setting down one of the Auckland United. Well, we made it, folks. Bottom of the 7th inning. 2 hours and 15 minutes.
13 runs scored.
It's been a lot of action, a lot of runs.
Some great defense, though.
And absolutely some great defense over the course of the evening. Brock Atwell to the dish. Brock Juan Cruzera, and then top of the shop, Teo Migliavaca for the Stompers. Off the glove to the screen. Besgrove looking to pick up the complete game win. That one misses downstairs. Came on in relief last night. Worked, what, Joe, was it 3 scoreless innings? 3.5?
3.
Swing and a miss by Brock Atwell, who probably had his fill of Jack Besgrove down in Argentina at the U23 World Cup.
Probably
Fouled
played
way
against
back
each other
and
in
off.
friendly competition. Probably played against each other all the way up, you know, in friendly competition. And
Yeah,
between
you
New
would
Zealand
think so,
and
eh? They
Australia.
probably saw each other.
Minor ball.
I don't know about minor ball if they cross the Tasman Strait all that often, but
Yeah.
well, 4. Atwell on board with a leadoff walk. Juan Cruzera is not going to hit. That is Jordan Graham. Pinch hit. Larry Lynch going to the bench here in the bottom of the 7th. Jordan, one of the guys that Larry will be able to draw on in these kinds of situations. Good stick coming off the bench. He'll be in contention for that number 3 pitching spot too. He, Ryan French,
Kyle Linton.
Well, Kyle Linton can't. He's a prawn, don't forget.
Oh, he's a prawn, yes.
Yeah, he made All-World last year.
Yeah.
For those unfamiliar with the prawn expression, it's an acronym for players who made the All-World team. And by ISC rule, you can only have one prawn pitcher. So Huemo Mata is the prawn pitcher for the Niagara Stompers. Now that rule applies to the World Tournament. Doesn't apply in an open event like this. So Linton has pitched here this weekend for the Stompers. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jordan Graham. Just off the outside corner. I think they've used 5 pitchers on the day. Jordan Graham, Ryan French, Gonzalez, Mata. Is Jordan Graham at least is a base hit.
Base hit for Jordan. Runners at first and second.
Teo Migliavaca, top of the shop. His 4th plate appearance. He's there. A cycle behind the Gremlins. Nadiwa with 5 plate appearances. So 2 runners aboard. Migliavaca reached back in the first, but hasn't really been able to figure out Jack Besgrove. Five hits for the Niagara Stompers prior to that one by Jordan Graham. Hadn't had a hit over the last 3 innings. So there's the one defensive conference that the Gremlins will be allowed for the inning. Should anybody else go out and try to meet with Besgrove, it'll be a ball in the batter. There's a called strike.
The 4-man umpiring system has worked flawlessly here.
Just off the dish, or just low, maybe. And the umpires did this for Steve Gallagher, who's our home plate umpire. He's going for his WBSC certification shortly. So he wanted an extra plate, and the veteran crew that we've got here more than accommodating.
Steve's going to the Canada Cup in a couple of weeks. That's where he'll get the chance to receive that.
Luciano Lafrano, our crack producer, will be at the Canada Cup in a couple of weeks. Set the stage for going there for the senior men's Canadians. That happening the last week of August. Called strike 3. Down goes Teo Migliavaca. Third time tonight on strikes. Something doesn't happen very often. Their pinch hitter, Dylan Cunningham. As Larry Lynch empties the bench. It's not going to be very often that we see Blaine Milheim pinch hit for it this year.
Niagara. Number 19, Dylan Cunningham.
Swing and a miss by Cunningham.
It's a good challenge for Graham and Cunningham to come off the bench and face the newcomer Besgrove. This type
It's
of
off the
situation.
glove of Mullins and still hustling after it. Here's Brock Atwell up to third base. You see the snazzy new haircut there for Jerome Remeke too, or the hairstyle at least, anyway, color. Not sure what's under the cap.
Yeah, we
but
gotta see
all we
it
can
without
see
the
peeking
cap on.
out is some blonde.
Yeah. Only his hairdresser knows for sure.
Runners at second and third. And swing and a miss by Cunningham.
Big cut.
Yeah, he batted in the middle of the order last week for the Stompers at the qualifier. Hit the ball very well. That is through the 3.5 hole. Here comes Atwell getting the wave to come around and scores Jordan Graham. And the Stompers push across 2 here in the top of the 7th inning. Close the gap to 10-5.
Coming to the plate for Niagara.
Great shot from the softball premier drone. We'll bring that down a little bit in behind us. We're just under that middle section in between the 2 tents.
Schiller.
Cam Schiller, the 3 spot. Blaine Milheim back out to run for Dylan Cunningham after that pinch hit appearance. And big cut. Comes up empty. Joe, if you'd have told the Stompers before the game you're going to score 5 off of Jack Besgrove, I think they might have taken it.
Yes. Without a doubt.
Chases that rise ball up and out of the zone. Boy, that curve that he throws to the lefties, he just bends that off the plate. That is hard to lay off.
Very.
And right down the middle, called strike 3. Cam Schiller, I don't know what he was looking for, but it wasn't one right down the middle.
For Niagara, designated player, number 7, Marshall.
So Marshall Kronk, 2 down, represents the last hope for the Niagara Stompers. And called strike. Kronk took one deep in the 3rd inning to the fence, chased Beninoka back. And there's a 2-3-4 hopper out to Malerzuk. That's the ball game. Here at Gremlins pound out 10 runs against a trio of Niagara Stompers pitchers. They win 10-5. They'll take the 3 seed into tomorrow's semifinal. 10 a.m. Joe Todd, Peter Labardius will have the semifinal for you. I'm sure that's going to involve the Hill United Chiefs here on the main diamond. There'll be action on the second diamond as well. Both those semifinals at 10. Championship game at 12 noon or thereabouts here on Softball Premier TV. Blair Sedford for Joe Todd, Luciano Lafrano, Carol Dureste. Thanks for joining us all day here at the Chiefs Challenge. We'll see you 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
For the latest in softball innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas. Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more. The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Become a Premier member now, softballpremiertv.com.